Do you think we'll need extra security for Chimaev versus Strickland? Absolutely. They seem to hate each other and despise each other. Those are the things that fights are built on, is bad blood, heat, a true dislike for someone. Sean don't necessarily like anybody, which makes him as fun as anyone to watch. But Khamzat just wants to smash people, beat them up, take them down, overwhelm them to the point that they can't do anything.
He definitely beats Khamzat for sure. I know Imamov and Khamzat kind of don't want to fight each other. I'm not really excited for that fight. Not a lot of people are, but the Strickland fight, in the striking, he definitely beats Khamzat for sure. Khamzat, a problem to deal with when he has you on your back. We've seen that many times. With Strickland, what he does brilliantly, I took Strickland down, I think 7 times. The way he gets up to hold him down is incredibly hard. At Extreme Couture, where they specialize in that cage vision and getting back to his feet. And Strickland's a lot stronger than people might think. I think he has a very good chance in that fight.
He is a lesson in how to get something you want for younger fighters that may be watching, okay? So, and I'm talking about Sean Strickland, just for the record, right? I'm talking about Sean Strickland. We all were operating under the idea that once Khamzat Chimaev beat Dricus du Plessis.
In the high-stakes, ruthless economy of the UFC, waiting politely in line for a title shot is a surefire way to be forgotten. Fighters who grind through the rankings often watch opportunities evaporate while louder voices steal the spotlight. Sean Strickland understands this brutal truth better than anyone currently on the roster. When Khamzat Chimaev captured the middleweight crown and looked set to defend it against a deserving contender, the promotion had a clear, logical path laid out, with Nassourdine Imavov acting as the rightful heir, apparent after stringing together impressive wins. But Strickland didn't just want to fight. He wanted to hijack the entire narrative and rewrite the script on his own chaotic terms. What Daniel Cormier breaks down in his analysis is nothing short of a psychological masterclass in modern MMA promotion. Strickland bypassed the rankings entirely and launched a calculated, unhinged verbal assault directly at the champion, an invitation or play by the conventional rules of meritocracy. Instead, he turned a standard title picture into an unavoidable, explosive grudge match that the UFC simply couldn't ignore. Cormier, a former 2-division champion who knows the politics of title contention inside out, highlights how Strickland's relentless trash talk created such overwhelming public demand and media buzz that the promotion had no choice but to pivot. This wasn't random chaos, it was strategic disruption. Strickland weaponized his microphone like a fighter uses his fists, forcing conversations on every major sports platform. By the time the dust settled, the logical matchup everyone expected had been derailed in favor of pure fireworks. As UFC 328 approaches on May 9th in Newark, New Jersey, this fight stands as a testament to one man's ability to manufacture opportunity through sheer force of personality and unapologetic aggression. In a sport where narratives often dictate paydays and matchmaking, Strickland proved that audacity can trump patience every single time. The result? A main event dripping with bad blood, personal stakes, and the kind of tension that guarantees fans will be glued to their seats when the cage door locks.
At the time, was supposed to be Nassourdine Imavov, right? Only because Nassourdine Imavov, actually, his last fight, and I'm looking it up right now, Imavov's last fight, he looked amazing, and he beat Carvalho, right? Out in Paris, France, where he received a champion's welcome, obviously, where he was the belle of the ball and where people absolutely loved him. But it seemed like because Imavov was on this run, he was going to get a title fight, and it was almost certain, to the point, guys, where I had heard rumblings that the fight was actually going to be made official.
Why does a fighter coming off a single bounce-back win suddenly leapfrog the entire middleweight division for a shot at the most terrifying champion in the sport? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in how the UFC operates today. Because the UFC is no longer just a meritocracy based purely on win-loss records and ranking position. It is the ultimate attention economy where buzz, controversy, and cultural impact carry massive weight. Daniel Cormier points out that Sean Strickland isn't just winning fights inside the octagon, he is dominating the news cycle outside of it with relentless consistency. From explosive appearances on Stephen A. Smith's shows to viral moments on mainstream sports podcasts and social media platforms, Strickland's unfiltered, highly controversial persona forces the world to pay attention whether they love him or hate him. He generates headlines that casual fans and hardcore enthusiasts alike can't scroll past. He didn't just earn a fight with Khamzat Chimaev through traditional means. He built a full-blown cultural spectacle that the UFC brass simply could not afford to ignore. After his impressive third-round TKO victory over the highly touted Anthony Hernandez, Strickland immediately pivoted to calling out the champion, injecting personal animosity and gym stories into the mix. Cormier emphasizes that this kind of external pressure, media demand, social media engagement, and pay-per-view potential often outweighs a perfect ranking trajectory. In today's combat sports landscape, where algorithms reward drama and casual viewers drive revenue, Strickland mastered the game. He turned himself into must-see television, creating a rivalry so heated that skipping it feels impossible. As the two prepare to collide at UFC 328, this matchup exemplifies how attention has become the most valuable currency in MMA. Technical skill opens doors, but the ability to command the spotlight ensures you walk through the biggest ones. Strickland didn't wait for the system to reward him. He forced the system to bend to his chaotic energy, proving once again that in the attention economy, the loudest voice often gets the biggest stage.
To try to push himself to the top of the line to get a title fight. But not only does he win the fight, from the very start, Sean Strickland is who Sean Strickland is. So immediately, when he is on the dais at the pressers, he's saying things that are so crazy and out there that everybody's paying attention. Guys, I watched Stephen A. Smith talk about Sean Strickland. I watched a guy named Jason Whitlock talk about Sean Strickland. I watched every talking head that covers sports, the pivot. I watched Club 520. Everybody talks about Sean Strickland. Things that people that don't have nothing to do with MMA, because he's so far out there. So immediately,
there is a specific type of danger that comes with a fighter who genuinely does not care if he gets canceled, and Sean Strickland is the absolute embodiment of that threat in the current UFC landscape. Daniel Cormier openly admits that sitting next to Strickland during interviews or press events is a nerve-wracking experience, a high-wire act where every microphone represents a potential PR disaster for the promotion, opponents, and even himself. Yet, this exact volatility is Strickland's ultimate superpower. By weaponizing his utter lack of a filter, he launched psychological jabs that pierce through Khamzat Chimaev's stoic, invincible aura. Strickland knew exactly which buttons to push, targeting the champion's reputation, training habits, and personal background, dragging the usually reserved Wolf into a mud-slinging war of words that guaranteed his place as the ultimate antagonist. Cormier, who has sat across from countless controversial figures, notes how Strickland's willingness to say what others only think creates an unpredictable energy that disrupts the polished image many fighters try to maintain. This isn't calculated marketing in the traditional sense. It's raw, unscripted authenticity that resonates because it feels dangerous and real. In a sport full of carefully managed personas, Strickland's refusal to play nice makes him a wild card that forces everyone around him to react. As the build-up to UFC 328 intensifies, this unfiltered approach has transformed what could have been a standard title defense into a deeply personal grudge match. Fans are drawn to the tension because it feels authentic. There's no corporate safety net, no scripted respect. Strickland's danger lies not just in his fighting style, but in his ability to make opponents and the promotion uncomfortable. He turned potential silence into unavoidable confrontation, proving that sometimes the most powerful weapon in MMA isn't a knockout punch or a submission hold. It's a microphone in the hands of someone who truly doesn't care about the consequences.
the stuff you may not agree with what he says some wild stuff. Every time I sit with him, I am so nervous that Sean's going to say something that not only gets himself canceled, but gets me canceled. I don't even know that he cares, though, because he's a fighter. He has beliefs in what he believes, and he just speaks it. For him, he's lucky that he has an organization that allows for him to be exactly who he wants to be. So he goes into Houston, he beats Anthony Hernandez.
In combat sports, the most dangerous game you can play is purposely trying to trigger a predator, but that is exactly the strategy Sean Strickland employed to secure his middleweight title shot against the undefeated Khamzat Chimaev. Daniel Cormier, a man who knows the psychology of championship fights intimately from his own legendary career, confirms that Strickland executed the oldest trick in the book with modern precision, relentlessly poking and prodding the king until he finally snaps. The moment Khamzat Chimaev broke his silence and engaged with Strickland's relentless trash talk, the trap was sprung. What started as one-sided verbal jabs evolved into a full-blown back and forth that sucked the entire MMA world into the drama. Strickland didn't just ask for a fight, he verbally assaulted Chimaev's pride, his gym reputation, and his aura of invincibility until the champion had no choice but to demand his head on a platter. Cormier breaks down how this tactic works because it exploits basic human nature. Champions hate being disrespected, especially by someone they believe they can physically dominate. By framing himself as the truth teller exposing the wolf's weaknesses, Strickland forced Chimaev out of his comfort zone of quiet dominance into the spotlight of public confrontation. This approach carries enormous risk. Poking a fighter like Chimaev, known for his smothering wrestling and finishing ability, could easily backfire on fight night. Yet Strickland bet everything on it, using his recent dominant performance against Anthony Hernandez as proof that his skills match his mouth. As UFC 328 in Newark draws near, the strategy has paid off in spades, creating a main event loaded with genuine animosity rather than manufactured hype. In the end, Strickland didn't earn his shot through patience. He earned it by making the predator hunt him, turning a potential quiet title defense into a must-see collision of styles and egos.
He's poking at the champion. He's poking at the champion. And then Khamzat starts to reply. Guys, I am telling you as a guy that lived this life as Khamzat Chimaev, a champ, and lived this life as a challenger, as Sean Strickland is, and as a former champion that wants to get back to the belt. I've lived that life. The most important thing you can do is poke and prod and poke and prod and poke and prod and hope that that champion responds to you. The moment Khamzat started responding,
behind closed doors, away from the cameras and the pay-per-view lights, lies the true foundation of this bitter rivalry. The infamous sparring sessions between Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev at Extreme Couture and other Las Vegas gyms. The stories coming out of those closed-door sessions are the stuff of MMA legend, but as Daniel Cormier bluntly points out, the narratives are completely contradictory and fuel the fire heading into UFC 328. Strickland claims he made the wolf quit during grappling exchanges, painting Chimaev as a bully who only preys on weaker training partners to protect his aura. He positions himself as the real alpha who seeks out the toughest rounds possible. Chimaev's camp, on the other hand, insists the exact opposite happened, claiming both Chimaev and his training partner submitted Strickland multiple times, exposing holes in the former champion's game. This isn't just pre-fight banter, it is a direct, vicious attack on each man's fighting integrity and manhood. Cormier notes the skepticism around these stories, acknowledging that gym lore is notoriously unreliable and often exaggerated by both sides. Yet the contradiction ensures that when the cage door locks at Prudential Center in Newark on May 9th, they won't just be fighting for a belt, they will be fighting to settle the truth and defend their reputations. The personal stakes elevate this matchup beyond a standard title fight. Every takedown attempt, every scramble, and every moment of fatigue will be viewed through the lens of those disputed gym sessions. Strickland's accusations strike at the heart of Chimaev's fearsome reputation as an unstoppable force, while Chimaev's counter-narrative aims to portray Strickland as all talk. As DC observes, this layer of unresolved beef makes the fight infinitely more compelling. What happened in the gym years ago may never be fully known, but on fight night, the octagon will deliver the only verdict that matters.
Khamzat is going back and forth with Sean. Obviously, we know that those guys were training together, and at a point, it looked like they might have been friends. But when I hear them talk about the training sessions and talk about the way they feel about each other, someone's lying. Because, guys, people were in the gym when they were training. Someone was getting their ass kicked. Sean says it was Khamzat. Khamzat said it was Sean. Sean saying, maybe I picked the toughest guy and I'll let him get in position.
Imagine doing everything right, winning the biggest fights of your life, climbing the rankings with impressive victories, and standing on the precipice of a UFC title shot, only to watch a loudmouth with a microphone steal it out from under you. That is the tragic reality for Nassourdine Imavov, who many believed was the rightful next challenger for Khamzat Chimaev's middleweight crown. Daniel Cormier reveals just how close Imavov was to securing the fight before Sean Strickland deployed his weaponized charisma and controversy. Imavov had built momentum with strong performances, positioning himself as a technical, dangerous contender. Yet Strickland's post-fight call-out after stopping Anthony Hernandez, combined with his history of beef with Chimaev, shifted the entire conversation overnight. It serves as a brutal, unforgiving lesson to every young fighter on the roster. Technical brilliance is rarely enough in the modern UFC. To reach the pinnacle of the sport, you must be willing to manufacture chaos, attack the status quo, generate media heat, and force the world to demand your presence. Cormier doesn't celebrate the injustice, but acknowledges the harsh reality. Narratives and public interest often dictate matchmaking more than pure merit. Imavov has voiced his frustration, making it clear he believes he was overlooked in favor of a more entertaining, albeit riskier option. This stolen opportunity adds another layer of tension to the card, as Imavov and others watch from the sidelines while Strickland gets his shot at glory. For aspiring contenders, the takeaway is clear. Master the fight game inside the cage, but never underestimate the power of controlling the story outside it. Strickland didn't just take a fight, he took Imavov's moment, proving that in MMA, the bold and the loud can rewrite the rules when the spotlight shines brightest. As UFC 328 approaches, this dynamic underscores why the main event feels so personal and unpredictable.
And he only fought one time. He went from fighting Dreka's losing bad to beating Fluffy and earning the title shot because of everything he did surrounding the fight and getting the champion to take note, pay attention, respond, and react has put him in a position where he gets the championship opportunity. Now here's the question, right? Here's the question that I have for everyone. It's like watching him against Fluffy. Do we believe that he can compete against Khamzat Chimaev? I have heard stories, guys.
While Sean Strickland wages a relentless war of words and accusations, the stories emerging from Khamzat Chimaev's training camp paint a picture of absolute, terrifying physical and mental preparation that borders on the psychotic. Daniel Cormier shares insider rumors that Chimaev is operating with an intensity few can match, allegedly placing financial bounties on his own head, paying elite training partners handsomely if they can manage to submit or finish him during sessions. This is a man actively hunting for his own vulnerabilities, enduring a masochistic crucible designed to ensure he is unbreakable on fight night. Cormier describes it as a level of dedication that reveals Chimaev's champion mindset. Rather than resting on his undefeated record and dominant performances, the wolf pushes himself into deeper waters, inviting the hardest tests possible. It forms a terrifying counter-narrative to Strickland's claims of gym dominance and bullying. While Strickland paints Chimaev as someone who avoids real challenges, these bounty stories suggest the opposite. A fighter obsessed with ironing out every weakness through extreme measures. The contrast sets the stage for a fascinating collision at UFC 328, a psychological mastermind in Strickland versus a physical juggernaut in Chimaev, who has forged himself in fire. Cormier notes how this preparation style mirrors the greats who refuse to coast. Chimaev isn't just training to win, he's training to destroy any doubt, including the doubts Strickland has tried to plant. As the fight nears in Newark, these camp rumors only heighten the anticipation. Will Chimaev's masochistic preparation make him even more dominant, or will Strickland's unorthodox style and volume expose cracks that even bounties couldn't fix? The Bounty Gate stories add a layer of mystique and fear, reminding everyone that behind the trash talk lies a champion willing to break himself before anyone else gets the chance.
I have heard stories out of the Chimaev camp that Chimaev is training so hard and putting it on guys, elite level guys, like nothing you've ever seen before. I have heard Khamzat Chimaev wants people to go so hard with him to try to beat him and submit him and do. He's paying him. He doesn't care. I got some guys in the gym, at my gym, that know people there. They're like, man, this dude, if somebody can submit him, there's like money. The Saints got in trouble for Bounty Gate. Khamzat's putting a bounty on himself to make guys give him all that they have. This dude, it's different. But do you believe that after watching...
When Dana White publicly declares that extra security will be required just to keep two fighters in the same building during fight week, it isn't promotional hyperbole. It is a genuine warning rooted in reality. Daniel Cormier hits the nail on the head when he describes this matchup as one built on a foundation of pure, toxic, bad blood that runs deeper than most rivalries in recent UFC history. There is no mutual respect hiding beneath the surface, no gentleman's agreement to sell pay-per-views with fake smiles. Sean Strickland possesses a universal disdain for many of his peers, especially those he views as benefiting from favoritism or protected images. Khamzat Chimaev, meanwhile, operates with a primal urge to physically break anyone who dares disrespect him or his camp. Every press conference, every weigh-in, and every face-off becomes a ticking time bomb waiting to detonate. Cormier, having witnessed countless heated build-ups, emphasizes that this level of genuine animosity is rare and valuable. It transforms a fight into an event that fans feel emotionally invested in. The history of disputed gym sessions, public accusations, and cultural clashes has created a powder keg atmosphere heading into UFC 328. Security measures aren't just for show, they reflect the real possibility of chaos erupting before the first bell. Strickland's unfiltered commentary has repeatedly crossed lines, while Chimaev's quiet intensity suggests he is storing every slight for release inside the octagon. This isn't the polite rivalry of technical fighters. It's raw hatred meeting elite skill. As the Prudential Center fills on May 9th, the tension won't just be about the belt, it will be about settling personal scores in the most public, violent way possible. In a sport that thrives on emotion, this pure animosity guarantees one of the most electric atmospheres of the year.
We're going to need some extra security for this fight. Do you think we'll need extra security for Chimaev versus Strickland? Absolutely. I got to be honest. I don't know if I trust those two enough to put them together before the fight, because I think they might start fighting. They seem to hate each other and despise each other. And those things are what fights are built on. Those are the things that fights are built on, is bad blood, heat, a true dislike for someone. Sean don't necessarily like anybody, which makes him as fun as anyone to watch.
In the hyper-masculine world of mixed martial arts, calling another fighter a bully is a calculated, devastating insult that strikes at the core of their reputation, and Sean Strickland wielded it like a scalpel against Khamzat Chimaev. Strickland specifically targeted the champion's fearsome reputation, alleging that the Wolf specifically hunts for the smallest, weakest sparring partners in the gym to maintain his aura of invincibility while avoiding real tests. By positioning himself as the true alpha who seeks out the hardest rounds against the biggest and baddest training partners, Strickland attempts to strip away the mythological fear that surrounds Chimaev. Daniel Cormier discusses how this accusation resonates because it questions not just Chimaev's skill, but his character and courage inside the gym environment where reputations are truly built. It is a psychological attack designed to plant a seed of doubt in the minds of the fans, the media, and perhaps even the champion himself. Cormier notes that gym culture is sacred in MMA, Accusations of bullying cut deep because they imply someone is hiding behind selective matchmaking even in training. Strickland's claims, whether exaggerated or rooted in partial truth, forced Chimaev to defend his entire persona. As the rivalry heads toward UFC 328, this bully narrative adds personal venom to what was already a high-stakes title fight. Fans now debate not only who wins, but whose version of gym reality holds up. Strickland hopes the doubt will make Chimaev hesitate or fight emotionally. Chimaev, known for his smothering pressure, will likely look to punish the man who dared question his methods. In the end, the accusation transforms the fight into a referendum on manhood and authenticity in combat sports, where the bully label carries weight far beyond the octagon.
That's how you get your fight. Back in 2022, Sean said, hey, I'll tell you, when I walk into a gym, do you think I pick on the little weakest guy? I say no. Let's spar. I find the biggest, baddest MFer in there, and I'm like, hey, I want to spar you. Every time Chimaev would walk in the gym, he would pick the smallest, lowest level pro and say, but oh, he looks like my opponent. He would pick the smallest guy. I think that Khamzat's a bully, is what Strickland said.
There is no greater taboo in combat sports than accusing a world-class fighter of quitting, but Sean Strickland shattered that boundary with zero hesitation or remorse. By publicly declaring that he broke Khamzat Chimaev's will during a grappling exchange in sparring, Strickland launched the most inflammatory, disrespectful claim possible against an undefeated champion. Daniel Cormier's sheer skepticism highlights the gravity of this accusation. Quitting goes against the very DNA of a fighter like Chimaev, who has built his career on relentless forward pressure and finishing ability. Whether the claim is true, partially true, or a masterfully spun fabrication designed to get under the skin, it guarantees that Chimaev will enter the octagon at UFC 328, not just looking to win, but looking to inflict a level of violence that permanently silences the disrespect. Cormier points out how crossing this line elevates the stakes dramatically. In MMA, admitting or being accused of quitting is seen as the ultimate weakness, one that can haunt a fighter's legacy. Strickland's boldness in making the claim publicly shows his commitment to psychological warfare, turning a potential wrestling battle into a quest for vengeance. The taboo nature of the statement ensures no one will forget it on fight night. Every time Chimaev lands a takedown or applies pressure, the narrative will circle back to Strickland's words. For Chimaev, this is personal redemption. For Strickland, it's validation of his entire disruptive campaign. As the main event in Newark approaches, this accusation stands as the most explosive element of the buildup, promising a fight where pride and ego matter as much as the belt itself. In combat sports, some lines should never be crossed, but Strickland crossed it anyway, ensuring this rivalry will be remembered for years. The brilliance of this matchup at UFC 328 lies in the undeniable momentum both men carry into Newark, New Jersey. This isn't a fight built purely on trash talk and manufactured drama. It is backed by elite, undeniable violence and recent performances that signal both are peaking at the right time. Sean Strickland is coming off a career-defining, brutal stoppage victory over the highly touted Anthony Hernandez, proving that his sharp striking, defensive wrestling, and relentless pace are as dangerous as his tongue. The performance reminded many, including Daniel Cormier, of the Strickland who once dethroned Israel Adesanya, showing championship-level composure and power. Meanwhile, Khamzat Chimaev is reportedly firing on all cylinders in camp, looking like an unstoppable force with his suffocating wrestling, improved striking, and frightening cardio. As the undefeated middleweight champion, Chimaev enters with the confidence of a man who has yet to taste defeat, backed by grueling preparation stories that suggest he is more dangerous than ever. When you combine these top-tier athletic peaks with a deeply personal, toxic rivalry fueled by gym lore, stolen opportunities, and public accusations, you get the rarest of MMA phenomena, a fight that over-delivers on both the narrative and the physical spectacle. Cormier has highlighted how Strickland's recent form could make this a much tougher test for Chimaev than many expect, turning predictions into genuine debate. The perfect storm is here, momentum meeting animosity in the Prudential Center. Fans won't just witness a title fight, they'll see two men at their best, carrying months of built-up tension into a 25-minute or less war. This collision promises violence, drama, and the potential for a classic that defines 2026 in MMA.
He also said that he made Khamzat quit in training. Witnesses in the audience, where's Strickland's coach Eric Nixick at? I made him quit. No, we were doing positional grappling. I started on my back. I was like, first round, I let him choke me because no one gives a damn. But he said, I made him quit. And to me, it sounds like he believes that. But if I know Khamzat Chimaev, and I've met him and I know him pretty good, quitting does not seem like something Khamzat would do. It just doesn't. And if the stories are to be believed,
Daniel Cormier offers a profound piece of advice to the next generation of fighters watching this saga unfold in real time. While he doesn't recommend mimicking Sean Strickland's exact brand of controversy and unfiltered commentary, acknowledging it carries risks and isn't for everyone, he points to the underlying mechanics of his success as a valuable lesson. The willingness to attack the king directly is what sets Strickland apart. He recognized that the UFC is not a purely passive sport, where merit alone guarantees opportunity. You cannot simply wait to be chosen by the promotion. You must force your way into the spotlight through action, words, and undeniable presence. By relentlessly targeting the champion, generating massive media heat, and creating an undeniable, must-watch storyline, Strickland executed the exact same blueprint used by legends like Chael Sonnen in his prime. Cormier breaks down how audacity often outweighs strict arithmetic in matchmaking. Rankings and win streaks matter, but creating a cultural moment that drives pay-per-view numbers and conversation matters more in the attention-driven UFC. Strickland proved this by turning a logical Imavov title shot into his own golden ticket through sheer force of will and personality. For young contenders grinding in the lower ranks, this saga serves as both inspiration and warning. Master your craft inside the cage, but never neglect the art of narrative control outside it. Audacity, when paired with legitimate skill, as shown in Strickland's win over Hernandez, can accelerate careers dramatically. As UFC 328 approaches, Cormier's analysis reminds everyone that the fight game rewards those bold enough to seize the moment, rather than politely waiting their turn. Strickland's blueprint isn't pretty, but in a competitive landscape, it works.
Of what I am hearing in this gym right now, Khamzat Chimaev is firing on all cylinders. But if you watch Sean, he was too. Down in Houston against Fluffy Hernandez, who looked like he was a world beater going into that fight against Sean Strickland. Sean stops him with a nasty knee. It was crazy, man. These guys, though, are supposed to be fighting, and now Newark, New Jersey gets that as the main event.
It is a truth that many MMA purists refuse to accept, but Daniel Cormier spells it out perfectly. At its highest level, the UFC operates on the exact same principles as the NFL, the NBA, and even the WWE. Unfiltered animosity and compelling storylines are the ultimate currency that drives fan engagement and revenue. People tune in to watch the Bears play the Packers because of generational bad blood and regional pride, and they will tune in to watch Sean Strickland fight Khamzat Chimaev for the exact same reason: raw, personal hatred that makes the outcome feel meaningful beyond the belt. Strickland understood this pro-wrestling reality of MMA better than most. The sport needed a villain, a disruptor willing to shatter the polite facade of martial arts respect and fighter code that often makes matchups feel sterile. By embracing the chaos, weaponizing controversy, and refusing to play the respectful contender role, he didn't just earn a title shot, he guaranteed a blockbuster main event at UFC 328 that has the entire combat sports world talking. Cormier notes how this approach mirrors successful rivalries across entertainment. Heat sells, and genuine heat sells even more. Strickland became the antagonist everyone loves to hate or secretly root for, forcing Chimaev into the hero role while injecting real stakes into the promotion. In an era where casual fans drive numbers, this pro-wrestling infusion, complete with disputed backstories, personal insults, and security concerns, elevates the fight from good to unforgettable. Purists may complain, but the numbers don't lie. Drama fills arenas and breaks streaming records. Strickland didn't deny the business side of MMA. He mastered it, proving that sometimes the most real fights are the ones that feel scripted by chaos itself.
Listen to Sean. I'm not telling you guys to do everything Sean Strickland does because I do not know that there is a world where that works for multiple people. I don't know how many people can get away with what Sean does. But there are things in there like pick at the champion that works, because I did it. And if you go back in history and look at the people that earned title opportunities, maybe before they deserved them, maybe when they thought they did and the world did not, notice what they did. Notice how.
As UFC 328 approaches on May 9th at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, the narrative is crystal clear. This is a war between an unstoppable physical force and an unhinged psychological mastermind, with massive implications for the middleweight division. Khamzat Chimaev wants to step into the cage to smash, overwhelm, and physically destroy the man who dared to drag his name through the mud with accusations of bullying and quitting. Backed by an undefeated record and terrifying camp stories, the champion seeks not just victory but total domination to silence his critic once and for all. Sean Strickland, meanwhile, wants to prove that his defensive shell, relentless volume striking, and unbreakable will can drown the sport's biggest boogeyman. He aims to validate every wild, disrespectful claim he made to manufacture this opportunity, turning doubt into legacy-defining triumph. It is a deeply personal war built on conflicting gym lore, stolen opportunities from fighters like Nasruddin Imavov, public security concerns, and pure, unadulterated hatred. Daniel Cormier has broken down how this clash of styles, Chimaev's suffocating wrestling and power versus Strickland's slick boxing and pace, combined with the toxic buildup, makes it the most explosive, must-watch main event of the year. No one expects a boring fight. The psychological edge Strickland hopes to carry meets Chimaev's physical prime in what could be a short, violent war or a grueling 5-round chess match. When the cage door closes, all the words, rumors, and bad blood will finally be tested where it matters most. This isn't just for the middleweight belt, it's for pride, truth, and supremacy in one of MMA's most heated rivalries. Fans are in for a night they won't soon forget.